Hi, and welcome back to a new episode. I am so nervous to record this one because I'm exposing myself a little bit, and as you can probably tell by the title, I'm talking about my self doubts. And I want to talk about this because I've been up against some serious self doubt lately, and a lot of negative self talk kind of feels like it's coming out of nowhere. And I just wanted to get into it.
Your low self worth ends here. Welcome to Becoming Enough, a podcast dedicated to breaking down your experience as a black sheep and understanding how that impacts your self worth. Your experience as a black sheep and cycle breaker is unique, and it's time we finally started to talk about it.
But before we get into it, first of all, can we take a minute for this blowout I did on myself? Like, hello, the hair is hairing today. And if you are not watching this on YouTube and you prefer to watch rather than listen to the audio, highly recommend the link to my YouTube channel is always going to be in the show notes. And I'm thinking that since I'm recording videos and they're only able to be like video form podcasts on Spotify, that I may as well just include links and keep posting and have like a separate playlist for podcast episodes on my YouTube channel. That way, if you don't have Spotify or if it's like not as easy for you to use it on the go and things like that, you can just watch me on YouTube instead. So I wanted to share that. And if you would like to watch, then watch me on YouTube. I'm just like living with this hair right now. Okay, I feel like a lion.
That part stopped me in my tracks. This is editing, Roshni, and I was going to cut all of that out, but I left it in because later in this episode, I talk about how the universe speaks to me through animals. And a couple days after recording this and saying that line, I started to see lions everywhere. And a big part of that reminder was having more confidence and believing in myself more and trusting in myself. And so having all of those signs come up right after I recorded this episode was such a crazy synchronicity, and I had to tell you about it.
Okay, but I needed the blowout and like a little bit of extra confidence today because I'm talking about my self doubt. And honestly, part of me has been wondering like, is this me kind of going back into a depression? And I really, really hope not. But it's something that I have to be really honest with myself about. And so I'm kind of trying to like navigate that and continue this conversation with myself. But I also realized I haven't done a video on this podcast or like any content really where I go really into like the middle part of me experiencing frustration or doubting myself or struggling with the things that I talk about all the time, right? And I feel like I don't want this to be all of my content because I want you guys to be able to take something away from it. Like I want you to be able to actually have helpful advice instead of just like me bitching on the internet, obviously. But at the same time, I think that having moments of like opening up the window is really helpful. First of all, because it might help you feel less alone or help you feel like someone else is going through this too. But also, I just think it's honest and it's vulnerable. And like, I would rather be honest than like be superficial on the internet. Like that's never been my MO or my goal here. And I think part of this also of me just like expressing a lot of the ways that I've been really unkind to myself and harsh with myself, like those might be helpful for me to express too, because I'm not holding it in as much and actually able to share it. Let's just get into it. I'm like obviously dilly-dallying because I don't want to talk about this partially. But the self doubt that I've been experiencing has really been connected to like my business and my purpose. And that's another reason why I feel like it's important for me to talk about it here and share it with you. I have had so many wins in my business, and I've worked and done readings with hundreds of people. Like I don't have an exact count in terms of like in-person vendor events and online readings and all of that. But I've done readings for hundreds and hundreds of people across the last 4 years. I have worked with one-on-one clients. I've worked with clients in my like South Asian self-trust course, which I would love to bring back and might still be able to bring that back sometime soon. It is a goal of mine to bring it back in kind of a new way. But I've helped so many people, and I've heard so many people tell me that my work has helped them, or me sharing has helped them kind of deal with like an experience that they thought no one could relate to. And that's literally why I do this work. But alongside a lot of the wins that I've also had a lot of losses. I've just had so much happen through my business where I felt completely taken advantage of, or where things would happen out of nowhere. Like when I was published, like I was kind of locked out of being able to get my funds from the work that I wrote and did myself that got published online, and I was never able to get that money because of not being able to get that money through Stripe, and Stripe having some weird issue with me, which was not based on anything real. And I've tweeted at them and I've done all these things, and I still have not been able to get these funds like 3-4 years later. And Stripe is also the processor that was using that my podcast hosting platform was using. So when I was running ads on my podcast, I would get paid little amounts through that, and it really wasn't anything big, but my podcast was also just starting off, and I never got access to that money either. So I have not made $1 from my podcast in all of these years of like working on it. And I could have kept running ads after that, but I was like, and it wasn't like branded ads, right? It was ads for my podcast hosting platform. And I wasn't able to get access to those funds either. So I was like, well, I'm not going to keep running ads if I'm not seeing the funds from it. Like, that's pointless. And so I stopped doing that. And I've had, certain things seem like they were breakthroughs. Like I did readings for a celebrity who was like excited about, sharing my content on their platform and with the world. And then that just like never happened, even though I did an incredible reading for them. And we're on good terms. Like nothing negative happened between us, but it was just like, okay, like I've had so many of these moments where I'm like at kind of a breakthrough, right? Even with my TikTok, I gained well over 10K followers. I had so many views, so much engagement. Like to me, it really was never about just the views. It was about hearing from real people who were saying that I'm helping them, hearing from people who were booking readings with me because of the collective readings that I'd shared. And all of that work was like through my heart, right? And I felt so passionate about everything that I was doing. I still do, or else I wouldn't have lasted through all these ups and downs. But through that, like I started speaking up about Palestine and Gaza on TikTok and other political things on TikTok. And after that, for literally over 6 to 8 months, I could not get out of 200 view jail. I would occasionally come across like an old follower of mine who would comment and be like, I haven't seen your videos in so long, like I've missed you, but I'd been posting consistently, right? And so after a while, like I was like, I need to take my power back. Like I'm not going to keep posting on this platform if I'm being suppressed. Like, and then also like people were impersonating me and scamming me, which happens to like everyone out there who posts public content. But knowing that people were getting ripped off and I wasn't even seeing the views or the engagement or connecting with my audience in any way, and other people were able to have videos with higher views that were literally taking my content, my spiritual work, and impersonating me, like, and scamming people, like, just thing after thing after thing after thing happened. And obviously I've stayed resilient because, like I said, I'm still here. I'm posting on YouTube now. I'm working with like longer form content because I know that's where I thrive. But I have had just so much self-doubt start to creep up, and that's been kind of like building over all these experiences. And the last thing that I kind of want to talk about too, in terms of like things that have just like gone awry, is my workshops. I used to do workshops a lot more frequently, and at the start of, well, no, actually, I'm going to start a little further behind. I had a workshop that I was doing in 2021 that I was like advertising, and it was a limiting beliefs workshop, and it was something I was so excited about because I'd done all the work myself. Like I'd done like the workbook that I designed and all the prompts and like all the things that I wanted to teach. I'd kind of created those as like methods to help me, and then like months went by and I realized it was helping me and it was working quite a bit, and so I decided to develop it into a workshop. And I think it was free. I think my plan was to have it be free live so that people could join in, but then I was going to record it and then post it online to for people to purchase after the fact if they missed it for like $11, right? I just wanted this to be able to get my name out there, and to be able to also again facilitate that community feeling. Like I've been trying to facilitate a community, and I had like 25 signups. I was so excited about it, and then I did it live and not a single person came, and I don't think that was anyone's fault. Like people obviously are busy and like everyone's schedules are different, but this was like around the pandemic time, and I just got kind of disheartened, and then I sent out an email afterwards, for the people that had registered so that they could download the replay. And I think for like a week or two I was checking the replay after, and it didn't look like anyone had really downloaded it, and so I was like confused because it seemed like so many people were excited about it and then no one had signed up. And so I was like, okay. And last year I started to really take off with vending events, and I would go to one event and then some event planner there would ask me to go to a different event or would invite me somewhere else. And I started getting, paid directly through like nonprofits and organizations to do free readings for people. And I was starting to like really get into the in-person work and absolutely love it. And I still do. Like I still have events lined up for this year, but by the end of the year, I started to get really burnt out because for literally, like my friend was telling me just the other day, they were like, it's so nice to be able to hang out with you again because I feel like you've been busy for like the last 9 months straight. And it's true. Like I've been working full time at different events every single weekend, literally from like last May to last December. I had multiple events in different cities. I was driving a lot. I was working. It was a lot for me to do. And so part of me was like, I'm going to burn out if I keep working this way. Like I can't keep putting this much pressure on myself. And so I was like, well, I really still want to get back into workshops. And I got invited by another one of my friends to a full moon ceremony this January. And it was so good and so beautiful. And I connected with a lot of like women and femmes there. And so I'd connected with the person who was hosting it. And I was like, I'm a reader. I do all these things. Like I would love to be able to, host one of these workshops if you're ever thinking about something like that, because the people there were kind of throwing it together, but it wasn't like anyone in particular was like fully leading the workshop, right? And so I was like, well, I do this work and I love doing this work and I work with women and femmes all the time. Like this is what I can offer. And so I wrote a proposal for the workshop. They loved it. They met my my fee, and they said that they were going to be able to pay that. And then 2 days before it got canceled. And I was like, okay, well, like I did all this work, like I created like a brand new workshop and a new guided meditation and all this stuff just for you and for this event. Like, would you be able to give me even a partial payment for my time or anything? And they've just ghosted me, and that was in like February. And so that was fun. And I've just had like experience after experience after experience of things like this. And I've just been like, what is going on? And obviously I do believe in being like resilient and fighting for what I want and not, just like shying away after one rejection or something goes wrong. Because again, if I believed that, then I wouldn't be here in the first place doing this work for years and years. But something that I've like asked myself and kind of asked the universe is like, how can I step back into my power? Like after all of these situations, I begin to feel more and more powerless. I begin to feel like my work doesn't have a place in the world. And because like I had done it on my own and done it online and that didn't quite work. And then things in person were starting to take off, but then I was getting like really burnt out. And I realized like I wanted to not just do like different readings at markets as my full thing, but also do workshops. And then that wasn't working out when I was doing it on my own or when I was doing it through another like company or partnership or whatever. And so I don't want to like listen to one rejection or one no and take that as, the final say, but it's made me start to feel really self-conscious about myself and my work, because I feel like maybe like the universe is sending me a sign. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing this work, because again, I believe in it so much. And I know it's already helped people and it's helped myself. And I know this to be true. And it's like connected to what I want to leave the world with, right? Like I see this as what I'm supposed to do, whether I get paid for it completely or not. But at the same time, like, why shouldn't I get paid for it? Why do I have to burn out all the time? Why do I have to overwork myself at a full time job and then do this on top of that and miss out on opportunities for rest for myself and feel like I have to offer everything for free because if I don't, no one's going to come? Like, all of these things have just started to like put my mind in a complete whirlwind. And if you're an artist or a spiritual entrepreneur or something like that, maybe you relate to having these kinds of doubts too. It's weird because I feel like I'm so advanced, like in how long I've been doing this work. Like I've figured out so much on behalf of my business and filing an LLC, figuring out my own taxes, like doing every part of this myself, understanding sales tax and state tax and federal tax and all the different ways that that works and being UX certified and knowing how to create my website and knowing like I know so much because I've had to figure it out on my own because I've had no guidance, right? Like I've had no one like walk me through these things. I've had to do it for myself. And that's been incredibly empowering, but it's also been really isolating. Like, I feel so alone sometimes, especially when, like, I post and I see views or I see downloads or streams or whatever it is, and I also don't hear from anyone. And I don't mean that, like, if you're watching or listening and you don't feel like commenting or you don't have the time to do that, like, I still appreciate you and I feel that you're out there, but it does feel like I'm, like, sending really vulnerable deep messages like out into the void a lot of the time. And again, this is not your fault. Like this is not at all like me bitching about my audience. Like I love you, and if you weren't here, like I don't know what I would what like I wouldn't be doing this still, you know. So this is not in any way like coming down at you, but it's just like another form of being like, okay, well, I'm not hearing from my audience as much. Like I'm not hearing from a lot of these opportunities, a lot of these things are going wrong. Like why do I feel like I'm going in circles, right? And a lot of my self-doubt and self-talk has also really made me feel like maybe I should just quit, or maybe I should leave it all behind, or maybe I'm not worthy of this. And as a self worth coach, like obviously I'm always thinking about self worth, but that doesn't mean that I'm not immune to these thoughts, right? Like, and the whole purpose of this is not to eradicate these thoughts from ever coming up in your life, but it's to be able to balance them and be resilient around them and kind of talk yourself back up. But right now I'm just going through a really difficult time, and I don't know again if that is like connected to feeling possibly depression or something else that's like beyond my control a little bit, or if it is just like all these belief systems that are really getting to me because I'm not believing the truth and I'm buying into all these like doubtful lies about myself, right? um okay, that was a lot. um what I've really been so in a second ago I was talking about asking the universe like how can I step back into my power, and that's like my biggest tip for you is to always ask yourself like where am I not being empowered, because like even at my full-time job, like I've gotten 5 promotions and role changes in the last like year or two. Like I've been doing well, everyone there trusts me and knows that I do like my work and kind of believes in me, and the way that I entered into this full-time job was like not very serious, you know? Like I accidentally said a curse word in my first interview. I at the very end of my second interview for a role that I wanted to do, like my new boss was like, "Oh, like kind of throwing in like what's your biggest weakness?" And I have an answer for that because I've been asked that at so many interviews, and literally I was just like like, and they were like, it's fine, like whatever. And I got the job like the next day. Like it's been like a joke how easily I've been able to maneuver through this. And part of that has taught me like maybe I'm being way too serious about everything. But even in the last few months, like this job had like I've been taking it more and more seriously. I've been afraid to speak up and claim what I need, and I've been not as direct. Like I would normally just walk into the boss's office or whoever it is that I need to talk to them, tell them what I need, and like if I didn't get it immediately, then I would get it soon. Like I would just be a little patient and then it would come my way. And I'm like, why can I do this when I'm working for someone else, but when I'm doing it for myself, I feel so out of my power. And the biggest thing that I realized is like, I lost faith in myself. I lost faith in myself being able to cultivate a community. I lost faith in myself in terms of other people wanting to actually experience my work. I felt like the resort to that was me like downvaluing my work and charging less than I need to for it. I have undermined myself in my own business a lot. And I don't know where that came from or where that even started. And what's so frustrating is like I look back on times now where I'd made a significant amount in a month, or I, met some sort of goal that I had, and of like a number of clients enrolled in something or this or that. And I of course I was grateful, and of course I was super excited about it, and I always give every single one of my clients my all. Like that is huge for me. I don't take my clients for granted, but in my mind I still was thinking like I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be yet. And of course, like I was still starting out, but I still had clients. I still had people literally willing to pay me to work on really vulnerable, massive things in their life and I in their lives, and I saw them make these changes. Like I saw their lives continue to get better and better because of them standing in their power, because of our ability to work together and what we accomplished, and their own ability to stick to the plan or to hold themselves accountable or to continue committing to their growth. And so it's not that I never believed that my work was good. I just believed that no one wanted it. I believed that no one saw my value. And even with like long, like big coaching packages that I'd launched in the past, like I was so passionate about these things, and I even had like my goal in my mind was to have 4 clients for this 3-month coaching program that I launched in 2021, and I had over 8 people fill out the form, and I'd reached back out to the people and kind of said, okay, like we can set up this time for us to like a free Zoom call for us to like discuss what you wanted to work on in your sessions, and what you're wanting to do, and we can kind of connect and like lay the groundwork and figure out your payment plan, and then we'll begin our sessions. And the emails were all different. Like it wasn't like aggressive or whatever, and again, they'd already submitted their information to work together for these packages, and then I didn't hear back from a single one, and I had double the people sign up compared to the goal that I had in my mind. And after going through this over and over and over and over again, it has taken a huge hit on my confidence. So I asked the universe, how do I step into my power? And something that I keep hearing is like, stop relying on everyone else to partner with or to do this work with. Like you have to kind of get yourself back out there and like put together your own workshops and like stay patient with it, and not take the first no or the first round of people not signing up, if that even happens, as a reason why to not do this. And as I keep getting this message over and over again in different ways from the universe, I'm like ugh. It's hard to hear, but I also know it's true. And I know that it gives me ownership back of my business. No one can cancel an event 2 days before and forfeit their payment for me if I'm the one in charge, right? And if anything, I've gotten better and better and better over the years in creating content, in putting offers together, in, facilitating workshops and working with clients. Like I've only had practice and experience since all the times that things went awry. But even with like vending events or events being canceled or events, being on days where I'm out of town this year, like all the events, I've had a couple of successful events this year, but a lot of them too have been either rescheduled or I've been just going through difficulties around certain things. or like the ones that I'm excited about are on dates that I'm unavailable or out of town. Like things have just happened where it's like I keep getting kind of almost like shut down, right? And at this point, I'm like, okay, universe, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to figure this out? Because I'm not giving up on this work. I know people need it, I know people find value in it, but why is everything not working out? And again, the message I keep getting, like I even keep seeing myself in workshops. I've met so many other people in my hometown that are connected to wellness and connected to like all of this kind of like healing work and spirituality that also are not like, you know, like on the alt-right pipeline of just like also not believing in science and other things that are very important. And it's been hard for me to find that middle ground, but I'm seeing these people kind of pop up. And also being able to be connected to those kinds of communities in my hometown also means that I'm not driving 4 or 3 or 5 hours in a day to be able to go to an event and come home, not just doing spiritual work and not just around a lot of energy, but also on top of that, doing a lot of driving and then having to work a 40-hour week the next day, like start my 40-hour week the next day. Like it's been exhausting, and there's no wonder that I was starting to burn out. But I have to reclaim my power. I have to get my control back. And it's been really hard to build up the motivation after I've built it up so many times and still things have fallen through. And part of it also is like me reconnecting to gratitude over and over again, because I know it may not sound like this in this podcast episode, because I am trying to like get to the deep stuff and let the ugly stuff come to light so that it can just be expressed, right? And so you can know that you're not alone if you're going through things like this too. But connecting to gratitude, while it may not sound like it right now, has been a huge part of my practice, and it's something that I'm actively trying to reconnect with, because it's so easy in this work, especially in capitalism, and especially when you're like people are talking about startups and venture capitalists and investors and angel investors and all this stuff. And when you're in the business world, or when you're an entrepreneur, even if you're a spiritual based entrepreneur or whatever, like a heart-centered entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, you're still inundated with this business advice. And I've since like unsubscribed or like tried to make it very clear that I'm no longer like paying attention to all this like information that I used to get coming at you with that more mentality. Like, how do you double your growth? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do that? And it's like, yes, that's important. And I do care about logic, and I do care about building a system that works for me, and I care about all these things. But at the same time, like, part of that constant feedback made me feel like everything I had wasn't enough. Like the clients that I currently was working with, like I was grateful for them and I was grateful for, you know, their payments or whatever. But in my mind, I was like, oh, well, I still, like, I'm not there yet. Like I said before, this isn't enough yet. I'm not there yet. And when you're doing deep spiritual work, or when you're working with someone who's trusting you to, you know, help dissect their limiting beliefs and build up their self-worth, like that's not a good way to think. And that made me feel disconnected from my work, because I'm not just doing this like for like to make some extra money. This is more than like a random side hustle to me. Like obviously this is not me door dashing. Like this is so different than what a lot of businesses are, or than what like a lot of people see in the business community when they talk about growth and scaling up and X, Y, and Z. And I've been in so many coaching sessions where I'm the client, and I believe these people who have told me, you know, that they scaled their coaching business or they did X, Y, and Z, and they do not really care about their clients at all. Like I have seen that firsthand with so many people that are not only charging exorbitant amounts, which I believe like it's important to charge your value, and I think that it's okay to charge a lot for this kind of work, because like it's deep work, you're doing a lot. But at the same time, if you're going to charge insane amounts of money for really short time periods and also not care about your client, like you're just taking advantage of having a large audience. Do you know what I mean? And so I've always been in this place where then that's made me go back and start over delivering and undercharging, because I'm scared to treat other people the way that I've been treated as a client. And so, like, yeah. But the gratitude piece is something that, like, I realize I need to invite more slowness in my business. I need to invite more slowness in my life in general. I need to be okay with not always having the answers and not always trying to control things. And I need to be more patient. And those are some of the lessons that have been coming up for me personally. And maybe those have been coming up for you too, because I feel like a lot of us have been having experiences where things just aren't quite working out the way that we thought they would. And the paradigm is changing. The way that people are living is changing, and like so many things are falling apart, and we're alive at such a weird time. And it's hard not to be depressed and not to be anxious when you wake up and the first thing you see on your phone is insane amounts of violence. Like how are we even supposed to function? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I don't want this to be like depressing, but the ways so far to kind of recap what I've been doing to work through this feeling. I just saw 444 on the timer. Um Things that I've been doing, asking the universe to show me the way, asking the universe how I can step back into my power and where I've been doing a disservice to myself. I've also been trying to lean back into gratitude and trying to see the bigger picture, right? Because if I really am working with one client and I change their lives, which is, and I don't want to say like I did it because they did the work, but I was able to facilitate them going there, feeling like they weren't alone in going into themselves and like asking themselves these deep questions and turning it into major changes in their physical external reality. Like that's deep work. And I'm not just like I'm not trying to scam people or get people to sign up for some bullshit. Like I care about your life and how you are going to exist and move through your life after we're done working together. And that's why I teach things like EFT, which is a free tool that you can do with your fingertips and your body at any time, anywhere, because that's something that you can take with you. I always focus my tarot readings on like what is empowering and what is in your control now, rather than random predictive readings that anyone could say. I could tell you you're going to be at your dream job by next year and you're going to meet the love of your life and have everything you want. Like that would be easy, but I don't do that shit because that's fucked up. It's fucked up to do that. And I have been like putting myself in these categories and focusing on analytics and growth and numbers and all this stuff when this work is so much more than that. And there has to be a balance because of course I'm running a business at the end of the day and I can't keep undercharging and over delivering. But I have to zoom out and see the bigger picture and see what this work is also about, right? So again, stepping into my power, asking the universe for guidance, and returning back to gratitude. And the last thing again is being patient, but also like developing this language with the universe, which I touched on. But over the years, the last thing that I kind of want to mention here is that the universe has sent me so many signs that have reminded me to keep going, that I will make it through this like period, and that this really is for my best, like for me to thrive in the long run, right? Like I have to believe that because of the signs that I've gotten. And so if you already don't have a language with the universe, if it like, it could be numbers, it could be animals, it could be, music, or like other people's conversations, it could be people recommending a book to you, or authors, or reading, or themes that you find in content that you're reading or consuming, right? That's like somewhat positive. It could be in dancing and movement, like whatever those things are that the universe is, that you connect with. Learn to have a language with the universe. And for me, the main ways that the universe speaks to me is through animals, and is through numbers, and then is through like just messages that I get. And I am going to see Tokimonsta in Seattle next month. I am so excited because I've been listening to Tokimonsta since I was like a freshman in college. But I went to my playlist in my car, and it's like a playlist of a bunch of different EDM that like kind of hypes me up because I've been feeling so low, like I said, and I was trying to get more energy. And so I click and I was looking for a specific song, Prada by Ray, which I just love. It's like my intro running song, like it just gives me life. So I was looking for that, but then it was really far down in the playlist for some reason, which I don't remember it being. So I clicked on Put It Down, which is a song by Toki Monsta and Anderson .Paak, who I also love and have seen like multiple times in shows. And for the first time, like the words really started sticking out to me, and like the whole song really started to resonate with me. And I even looked up the lyrics the next day and was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But one part of the song said, from a sign to a dream, from a dream to real life. And the whole song is kind of about like success in a way, and relating to like the life that you had before you became successful, and what it feels like now, and the work and the motivation that you put into it. And I never even knew that's what this song was about. Like I just listened to it because the beat was good and because I like both of the artists that are in it, but I never listened to the words. And so it almost felt like everything stopped and I was laser focused on this song while I was driving, and then looking up the words later, I had like full body chills, right? And that something else that's been significant is like I never really take naps, but I've been so exhausted. I took 2 naps accidentally yesterday. I took a third nap today. I slept 10 hours last night. The night before I slept probably at least 8. But I have just been worn down, and I don't think I'm alone in that either. And it's also another reason why I think it could possibly be depression, but I'm trying not to speak that over my life. Like I'm trying to be like, okay, let's do things that make you feel good, and hopefully that's not what this is. I don't really know. But I've been having the most interesting dreams, and some of them have been really kind of scary, some of them have been really hopeful. I've had dreams even with animal medicine. I had like really significant buffalo dreams last year, like, but the dreams that I've been having lately have been strange for sure. And I can't be surprised because again, think about what the collective is going through, right? But seeing these bigger signs of what I should be doing and what I should be creating, and kind of seeing like all these things, while they're important pieces of work, like in real life, it's also a lot of the events that I'm doing, a lot of the things that I have been looking into that haven't quite worked out, it's more surface level. It's not as deep as my work could go. And I think in that way, I've been kind of hiding, even sometimes hiding behind tarot, or hiding behind like one of my services, and not sharing everything that I do at vending events, or which I've also been working on and like actually sharing more. But I've seen myself continuously play smaller and smaller and smaller as a result of these external circumstances in my life, of things not always working out or things going wrong. And I can see how that has not benefit me. So this idea of like getting these signs again from the universe, and then having these crazy dreams, and then also getting signs that things are still working out, like even though I don't believe it, I keep getting messages to continue to have faith, to continue working on myself, to rely on my potent medicine that I have to share with my world, and to stop trying to play small or change myself or hide myself to feel like I'm being accepted, and instead to be my full self. Those are the signs that I've been getting. And so again, the song said, from signs to dreams, from dreams to real life. Like I know that I'm in the process of that unfolding, but things feel further than they ever have in some ways. And I just don't think that I can continue to play small, and I don't think that I can keep hiding, because it's not even doing me any favors. Like, I'm not getting anything out of it, and you're not getting anything out of it. If anything, I'm doing you a disservice too by not sharing the depth of what I could. And so I think that I don't have any like workshops that I've designed yet. I don't know exactly where I'm going with this. I have some ideas and some exciting stuff that I want to create, but I just wanted to share all of this. And I think I will be doing workshops, and I think I want to do some in person if you're in Colorado too. And I think I also want to share some of that work online as well. And I think I just have to stop like assuming that no one's going to care about what I'm doing. And even if they do, I just have to keep going and not base my self-worth on these external random circumstances, like I keep saying, right? Because like that energy of just waiting for confirmation on how it's not going to work is perpetuating it not working. And I have to call myself out on it, because that's the only way that I'm going to grow, and that's the only way that things are going to change, right? So I hope that this kind of gave you some insight into like just what I've been going through, and how you can work through like a lot of the difficult negative things that you're going through, because it's messy, right? Like this isn't a close like a like a shut case, of how this isn't like a close and shut case of, okay, well, this was in my past and now I moved on. Like these things are recurring. And this is a very vulnerable, like tender space for me right now. But I can't give up on myself. Like I just can't. And a big part of this, as kind of the final thing that I'm going to say, is even though part of me is like, you have to keep going and you're seeing these signs and you know better and you need to be resilient, like I'm also trying to remain very aware of how that self-talk is actually sounding, and trying to reorient it to be a little bit more compassionate. And again, connecting to gratitude, zooming out to see the big picture, zooming out to see like myself even from a bigger standpoint of like, where was I 20 years ago and where could I be in 20 years, and even thinking about my age and how much I've accomplished, even though I don't give myself that credit. Like speaking to myself, instead of saying you should do this or you should be here or you should be past this, really reconnecting and saying like, dude, it's okay. Like it's okay to feel forgotten about. It's okay to feel like no one cares. It's okay to feel like you're yelling into the void. For like, how many artists have felt that way? How many of us have been that way for 10 years? Like there's like a lot of people that have been sharing. I think this guy named Nikki has been sharing how like all these major artists have taken over 10 years to be successful, or over like how it takes 10 years to, hit some kind of threshold in your art or in your work. And I'm not even using that as a number of like, okay, well, I'm counting down until I get to 10 years, but I'm using that as an opportunity to say every great person has been shut down. Every great person has been rejected. And also, I don't want to work in these bigger systems. Like maybe I don't ever want to be on a podcast network that could limit what I say. I've never wanted to partner with a lot of the affiliate brands or whatever partnerships or sponsorships that like your favorite influencers partner with, because I don't believe in them. Like I know that my work has had to exist in its own lane for a long time, and a lot of the opportunities for growth that I could have had, I have said no to because I believe in something different, because I don't believe in those existing systems. And with this collapse that I was talking about that we're all witnessing in society, like I didn't want to connect with that form of success in a lot of those ways. Like I'm not going to partner with a company that I don't believe in just to get money. I'm not going to scam you or, give these like massive claims of like, I'm going to heal yourself. Like I'm going to fix your self-worth. I'm going to fix your confidence. It could be so easy for me to say some bullshit like that, but I'm not going to, because that's not something I can do. That's something that you can do, that you have to be committed to. I am only here to highlight your power and to help you cross that threshold of where you feel stuck and where you feel limited, but you ultimately are going to be the one that changes your life, not me. And so many of these coaches or people out here will say, well, they're the only reason that you'll be able to get to that step. And I don't believe in that shit, because that's fucked up and that's not true. And I don't want that kind of power over anyone else's life. Anyways, I could probably talk about this forever, so I'm going to just kind of start to wrap it up here, because I know it's getting to be a long episode anyway, but I hope that this came off well and didn't just come off like a huge rant, or maybe it did. I don't know, you guys. I don't have a perfect ending for this, because like I said, I'm still in the very messy middle, like my friend Neelam always talks about. And if you're in the messy middle too, it's okay. forgive yourself and love yourself and know that you are capable of navigating this and you don't have to have all the answers, and you're allowed to grow and learn
Thank you
and
so
make
much for
mistakes
joining me
because
for
that's what
another
life
episode
is
of
all
Becoming
about.
Enough.
So
Be
I'm
sure
going to
to
try and
rate and
remind
leave a
myself
review
of
of the
that this
podcast
week,
so that other
and
Black
I'm
Sheep and
sending you
Cycle
so
Breakers like
much
you
love.
can find us too.
Bye.
Visit blacksheepexperience.com to learn more about how we can work together to elevate your self-worth and eradicate your worthiness wounds for good. Remember that you are worthy whether you believe it or not. I love you so much. Happy healing.